Okay, well, good Friday morning, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is December 2nd, 2022, 7:21 a.m., and we are into Week 13 in the NFL 2022-2023 season. Last night in Foxborough, the Patriots dropped to 6-6 as they lost to the Buffalo Bills, 24-10. Um, I'm going to quickly go through that game because all Jet fans were interested in it, and for a lot of reasons. Some wanted the Bills to win to knock the Patriots down at least a game and a half behind us in the standings because they have the tiebreaker. Some wanted the Bills to lose, the Patriots to win, so we could keep pace with the Bills. Listen, you can pick your poison, you can root whoever you want to root for, but if the Jets do not take care of their own business, doesn't matter who's in front of them, who's behind them. Um, few things that stood out last night, and very I don't know if it's the Prime feed from Amazon, but Al Michaels is just different on the call, and it's just a little doesn't feel like a primetime game. Um, First of all, the Patriots come out, they take a lead, 7-0. You're like, all right, Patriots are here. You never downplay a Bill Belichick team. Um, Here they come, 7-0. Uh, then Buffalo, ties it, or I think it gets it to 7-3, and it's going back and forth. Josh Allen, first of all, 4 weeks ago, we had him at Tommy John surgery, missing the rest of this season, all of next season. Who knows how he's going to come back? Buffalo's done, blah, 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 blah. Buffalo's on a winning streak. They won the last, I think, two or three. Obviously, they won last week on Thanksgiving, and they won last night. Josh Allen has it all. Um, I don't know how you'll measure success unless he gets to a Super Bowl, but Josh Allen has it all. First of all, last night, a few plays that stand out. One of the plays, and I forgot about this, I'm watching Good Morning Football this morning. Um, he is under pressure. He steps up in the pocket. His throwing arm, which is his injured arm supposedly, is hit from behind. It's kind of grabbed, and he flicks the ball about 4 yards to his running back. The running back picks up like 20. Okay. So, he knew where he was on the field. He knew where the line of scrimmage was. He knew enough to get it to the his offensive player, to the back, and he did that. Then he's running for first downs. And my cousin Mikey had mentioned this, he's running more plays this year and later on in the year with his feet than he was in the past. Maybe that does have to do with his arm injury, but still, he's running, he's leaping, he's picking up first downs. He is a threat with his legs as well. Then, it's 10-7. They have the lead. Stephon Diggs, of course, catches a touchdown pass from Josh Allen. And again, Buffalo has the ball. Allen is flushed out of the pocket. He's running to his right again. And I have to say, is probably less than a foot, maybe less than 4 inches or 3 inches away from the sideline. And he leaps up straight, kind of leading to the sideline, and throws the ball across his body, against the grain, as they say, about 15 to 20 yards down the field into the end zone, caught for a touchdown. Everybody could have went home at that point because it went from possibly holding him to a field goal to possibly getting him out of bounds with a sack or something, and he picks up 7. It's 17-7. You never count out a Bill Belichick team, but even the way the game was called last night was a little off from a Belichick team, and I think he's just using what he has. They get within range of a field goal, 47-yarder. Nick Folk, Jet fans know Nick Folk. He had some big kicks for us. He misses. Well, he is accurate as you could be on a field goal. I mean, he hits it dead center, but it hits the crossbar and falls back onto the field of play. He misses a 47-yarder. They go into halftime, 17-7. So instead of 17-10, which is a one-score game and you have the momentum coming out, now it's still a two-score game and you missed a field goal with one of the most accurate field goal kickers playing. I'll be honest, I did not watch most of the third quarter and fourth quarter. It was on and off. Again, having it on Prime, I was streaming it on my phone and streaming it on the TV. Then I went up to bed and I just sat on my phone for a little bit. It got to 24-7, and this is when I put it on. Actually, again, the Patriots had kicked a field goal, made it 24-10, a two-score game, two-touchdown game, obviously 14 points, and Nick Folk tries an onside kick recovered by Buffalo. I'll be very honest with you. I don't remember how much time was left on the clock. I know it was below the 2-minute warning, but Belichick had 3 timeouts, and he elected to have Buffalo kneel 3 times without calling timeout against him, without having them possibly punt or run plays or trying to get after the quarterback, what have you. And he was questioned about that, and he said he just did his best for the team there. Belichick has never been a coach that I thought was afraid. I've seen him run plays when he's up by 40. I've seen him run plays when he was down by 40. I don't know what he was thinking last night. Maybe it was a message to his players. And speaking of his players, Mac Jones actually, I saw this on Instagram this morning. It's been on NFL Network all morning, cursing at what looks like Matt Patricia, who calls the plays for the offense. He's not the offensive coordinator, but he calls the plays. I don't understand that. Only the Patriots can have somebody call the plays and not have the title. But something like run, stop, we need to pass the effing ball or pass the effing ball. We cannot run the effing ball. So you can see there's some frustration there. In the end, they lose 24-10. Buffalo is now 9-3, tied with the Dolphins. I think that Buffalo has a tiebreaker right now with the Dolphins. And the Patriots dropped to 6-6. So what does that mean? Right now, okay, so the Patriots are a game and a half behind the Jets. We'll see what happens Sunday. And it also means that the Jets are a game and a half behind the Bills. We have right now the tiebreaker with them. We play them next week. I don't even want to get into that yet. But also, they have one more game than us. But again, after this weekend, things should even out. Miami is in San Francisco this weekend, so this is a tremendous test. The Jets are playing the NFC, and so is Miami. And we'll see. And I want to show everybody this. Christmas tree is going up, which means meaningful games in December. Last time the Jets had a meaningful game in December, 2015, they went on a 5-game tear towards the end of the season. I think it was around Thanksgiving or so. They beat the Giants in overtime. They beat the Patriots at MetLife in overtime. They beat the Giants at MetLife in overtime also, but it was a Giant home game. And then had to go up to Buffalo the last week of the season, and we all know what happened there. The last time the Jets had this many wins at this point of the season was in 2010. So you could, just imagine it's 12 years since we've had, 7 wins this late in the season. I think, the record that they're talking about is 8 wins. So if they win it this week, get to 8, it would be the earliest they've done it since 2010. So, as I've been saying all season, I said this last season, you want to have meaningful games come November and December, and of course January and later on, and here we are. I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff for this. They took a team that was 1-2 and went off on a 4-game winning streak, or 5-game winning streak. They took a team that had turmoil in the locker room and on the sidelines a few times. Everybody forgets about the Quinnen Williams blow up on the sidelines, and then the coach coming out saying he was winded. Obviously, more recently, the Zach Wilson debacle, and Mike White going in. And I just want to touch upon Mike White and Zach Wilson and whatnot. I am not a college follower. Maybe in the future, now that I know some people go to play football in college, I will follow it more carefully. I will follow the players more carefully. But I really start looking at the players as we get close to draft time, the off season when they start ranking them and whatnot. I may be showing my age, but I can remember quarterbacks being drafted, um, mostly quarterbacks being drafted, and then sitting, learning schemes, learning the verbiage of the team, learning the program of the team, learning the game plan, following a veteran. Sometimes the veteran was up there in age. You never really had, you know, you never saw a quarterback like Dan Marino, and they drafted a quarterback behind him. You never really saw that. So maybe late in the draft they brought in somebody, but you never really saw. As they got later on in their career, you saw them start drafting, and they would watch this quarterback, learn what he did on the field. Um, you know, you had for the Jets. I can remember Brownie Nagel. Most Jets know that. I mean, he looked phenomenal in his preseason. He looked phenomenal, and between bad coaching and injuries, he just didn't make it. You know, then the Jets in 2000 drafted Pennington, and I looked at Pennington. I was like, all right, Parcells knows what he's doing, and Pennington, when he took over for Vinny, basically took the locker room and everything under his wing. He became a leader right off the bat, and the team responded. Pennington was smart. He was a Rhodes Scholar. From what I can remember being told and reading, he memorized the whole offensive playbook in one night on his honeymoon. Sorry to his wife for that, but you know. Then you had Sanchez, and Sanchez came in an awkward position. Sanchez came in where Favre came in for 1 year. Pennington was traded away to the Dolphins, um, and then you had this good team and a good defense, and then you have Sanchez. They just fired Mangini, and you have Rex. And Sanchez, maybe without that running game, more of his flaws are shown. But I can remember him throwing 5 picks against the Bills in a home game in '09. But Sanchez was thrown to the fire, but he made the plays when he had to make the plays. But that only lasted 2 years. And I think a lot of that was Mark was not used to, first of all, he's a USC quarterback. Mark was not used to New York media. I said this last week. He got a little snippy, I believe, in his '09 season, and the reporters roasted him. And the following week press conference, or the following day, whatever it was, he had scripted answers, and they roasted him for that too. So this guy could not win, even when he tried. He could not win them over. What then happened was they bring in Tim Tebow. And they bring in Tim Tebow, and Tim Tebow this, Tim Tebow that. He's going to revitalize. He's not really a quarterback, but he's a leader, and that killed Sanchez's mindset. Then what do you do to this poor guy? They draft Geno Smith, and Geno this year, yes, is showing a lot of good qualities. But I think Smith came in 2013. I think against what Rex wanted to do, but they brought in Geno Smith, and what happens? Rex decides his ego against the Giants is bigger than the game, and I love Rex, and he puts Sanchez back in the third quarter with a third line offensive line playing the Giants. Sanchez is hit, and he is lost for the season. Geno Smith takes over. He had some up and down games. But he had a lot of baggage to go along with it. I can remember Geno, they flew to San Diego, and what was the official report was Gino overslept because his clock was not set to Western Standard Time. He was still on Eastern Standard Time, so he was late for the meetings and whatnot. And I believe he was benched. Everybody who knows, if you have a cell phone, it adjusts to where you are. That's number one. I can remember him also backing up Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick got hurt. I believe it was in Oakland. Gino came in and Gino stuck up to George. He was not prepared. Um, you fast forward to the next season, Gino is punched out by a teammate. So the quarterback situation for the Jets has not been the greatest. Then you go with, all right, let's bring in, some veterans. And you have Josh McCown and Ryan Fitzpatrick for a few seasons. And Fitzpatrick gets us within one game of the playoffs. McCown has some ups and downs. The Jets had Michael Vick. I mean, it's just a bunch. But, they never nurtured a quarterback to, and I don't mean nurtured where you baby them, but train them to let them learn this game, let them learn the scheme, let the game come to them. And I know a lot of players say you have to play the game. You have to learn the game first before you can play the game. That's how I feel. And then, I mean, you can know the playbook, but then you have to be able to react on the field. Right now, the way Zach was reacting on the field, he looked scared. He had happy feet. As my cousin would say, he's throwing off his back foot, as my cousin Richie had pointed out. Just a lot of things that you don't want to see from a second-year quarterback. You want to see him get past that. And he was put in a bad position. I went to training camp with my daughters this season in August. It was after the Becton injury and after the Zach injury, so it was after game one. Becton was actually hurt in camp. And to watch Mike White practice, he looked terrible. He really did. I just didn't think he'd make this team. I thought maybe practice squad, I thought maybe they use him for trade bait. Then, as the preseason goes along, the people are calling for Mike White. Flacco doesn't look good in the preseason. And, I'm hearing that Mike White looks good in practice now. He's starting to come around. The same way I'm hearing that Zach is bigger, he's smarter, he's learning the playbook, he's matured. Things off the field happened. His mom got involved with something. I mean, just right now, it's just, things have not gone right for Zach. The final straw was obviously 2 weeks ago, and in comes Mike White. And again, maybe Mike sitting on the sidelines watching Flacco, talking to Flacco, learn some stuff. I don't know. I hope so. But again, the quarterbacks were another issue with the Jets. I don't want to be the Browns and draft a quarterback every 2 years until we get it right. And hopefully we get it right one day. If it's Zach, that's wonderful. If it's Mike White, that's wonderful. If it's not, let's get him. And we don't have to draft him. We could get a free agent. We could pull in a free agent, but don't pull in a fossil. Pull in a free agent in maybe his younger years who you could put into this program. And if that quarterback is on the roster right now, great. If not, we have to find him. But I give the coaching staff a lot of credit because not only did they take care of the Quinton Williams thing and it revitalized the defense, I think actually DJ Reed had some things to say as well about the defense early on. Saleh got the issue in the locker room, whatever feelings they had towards Zach, whatever feelings they had towards the play caller, and he nipped it. He nipped it in the bud, and now Mike White, I think, has the reins, and it's his job to lose. There was, and you gotta love social media because you would never see this on the news or the newspaper, but there was pictures of practice where one of the offensive coaches had Zach Wilson doing, practicing his footwork, which is great, but that would be a non-story in years past. But everything that's going on with Zach, everything is magnified. and that's the New York media too. I can remember Tim Tebow being here, and one headline was Tim Tebow runs in the rain at Florham Park with shirt off, and another one was Tim Tebow threw a football into a basket from 10 yards out. Like, who cares? You know, I want the work ethic and the practices to pay off, but I don't need every little caveat. Um, so that's my thing. I think the coaching staff has done really well dealing with adversity. They have won, I want to say, the same amount of games that they won the past two seasons in one season. Um, you know, you could say they shouldn't have won against Cleveland or Pittsburgh. Well, they shouldn't have lost against New England, at least one game. So, it could be that it offsets. Regardless, we are 7-4. We're going to Minnesota. Minnesota is 9-2. People say, "Oh, it's a fake 9-2." Um, I always go by, Parcells always said, "You are what your record says you are." Minnesota's 9-2. They're top of their division. Um, I believe they are the number 2 seed in the NFC behind Philly. Um, Kirk Cousins, I am not a fan of, but he can get the job done. They have some nice receivers. They have a nice defense. Um, but let me touch upon the defense first. And I don't want to get ahead of myself and talk about other games, but in the final 6 games, the Jet offense will face defenses ranked 19 or worse. So 19th is the best ranked defense they'll face. I want to say 29 is the worst ranked defense they'll face. And that's throughout the rest of the season. Who's 23, who's 20, who's 26, whatever it is. Um, the Jet defense has to keep Cousins um, off his game. They have to get to him. And the defensive backs have to stay within the receivers, of course. The Jet offense has to continue doing what they're doing. It was funny. They watching NFL Network right now, and they do this thing. They kind of highlight each game, and one of the commentators said, "If you're 9-2 at home, you cannot lose to Mike White and the Jets." Absolutely right. If this was reversed, and the Jets have far few between 9-2 seasons, but if you're a 9-2 team and you're home, and you just won on Thanksgiving and whatnot, you don't lose to a backup quarterback on a team that has a lot of things going on for it. The Jets need to keep up this momentum and go in there next week. I'm a little cautious about this game. I really am. The Bears game, I really thought the only thing that would cause problems if Justin Fields started and he did not, or if the rain and the wind got in the way and it did not. The Vikings team beat the Bills. They went head-to-head, toe-to-toe, nail-to-nail, whatever you want to say it, but were lucky to win that game twice in that game. I mean, basically, they had the lead after Josh Allen fumbled. They took the lead late in the fourth quarter, then gave up the lead and went to overtime, and then almost lost in overtime. So there is that, they are beatable. Last week, Mac Jones threw for over 300 yards against them, but lost. So their defense can be beat. Jets have to play a good game on all sides of the ball. So that's basically, what we're facing this week. You could look at and say, well, it's an NFC team. If they lose the game to the NFC team, the tiebreaker. No, I don't want to talk about tiebreakers. I don't want to talk about scenarios. Go out there and win your games. Go out there and win your games. You cannot depend on other teams to do what they need to do for you. If the Jets go out and take care of business in these games, the Jets will be playing meaningful games in mid-January. And that's what it's all about. I believe they have one more NFC game. Two more NFC games after this week. So basically, the way it worked with the extra game, they add an extra team on. So usually you play one division. So they played this year Green Bay and Chicago. They'll also be facing Minnesota, obviously, this week, and then the Lions on the 18th. Later on in the season, they'll face Seattle. So those are the three NFC teams that they'll be facing. They also have three AFC teams that they'll be facing. Take care of your business. I don't want to say what their record should be after these games. Play your game, take care of this business. Mike White, do what you do. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, catch the balls when they're thrown to you. Offensive line, keep Mike White upright and making these passes. Defense, get on and off the field. Keep Kirk Cousins, running all day. Get to him. Um, I'm going to tell you my score prediction for this game, but first I want to tell you what I think is going to happen in some other NFL games. And I don't have the board behind me, only because, like I said, I'm putting up the Christmas tree, and I had a kind of makeshift behind me right now. But these are what I have to pick for this week. So, in years past, these games would be really good. Um, starting off, you have Broncos Ravens. They're just going in two different directions. This game actually was supposed to be, this is funny, Sunday Night Football. And they actually took them off Sunday Night Football. Broncos fans asked, or wrote to the league, I believe, and said to move them because they're just so fed up with this team. Um, but the Ravens are home 7-4 against the Broncos 3-4. Lamar Jackson had, I think, a quad injury this week, but he practiced full yesterday. And I think the Ravens win this game. Um, I don't even know what the spread is. I'm not going to go by spreads, but I think the Ravens win this game. You know what? Let me do the spread. Hold on. Let me pull the spread out. Okay. So the Ravens are giving 8.5 to the Broncos. You know what? As bad as the Broncos' offense is, the Ravens, the Denver defense is pretty good. I think 8.5 is a lot. So I'm going to take Denver winning this game with the points, but I think the Ravens win it outright. Um, you know, Titans and Philly. Titans getting 4.5. They're in Philly. Philly, I believe, is 9-1. The Titans are 7-4. If you're a Jet fan, you're rooting for Philly in this game. Philly, I think, covers not only the 4.5, but they, of course, win the game. Cleveland, Houston, no good. I don't want to talk about Commanders and the Giants. I haven't really spoken about the Giants. Let them do their thing. They played very well. Last two games have not really been up to par with them, but let them be. I won't say anything about it. Green Bay, Chicago. This used to be a matchup everybody looked forward to, and it's just not. Seattle and the Rams. Before the season, you said, wow, Seattle and the Rams. Then you say Geno Smith, really? But Seattle is taking care of business. Geno Smith's taking care of business. They're in LA. Seattle is giving 7.5 points. I don't think the Rams QB is back. Still, 7.5 points is a lot. I think the Rams will win this with the spread, but I think Seattle wins this game by 2 or 3. Let's see. KC and the Bengals. What a game. What a game. If you're a Jet fan, you're rooting for KC. They're in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's getting 2.5 at home. They probably only get points at home when they play Kansas City. And I think Kansas City wins this game. And they cover the spread. I think they win by 4. And then you have Monday night, the Saints in Tampa Bay. Of course, the Tom Brady show. The Saints are getting 3.5 on the road. And I think that Tampa Bay covers that. So for the Jets, in this game, now remember the Jets are on the road. They are getting 3 points. I always said this. This is something I learned early on, from my father. And then, when I listened to sports radio, home team is always given 3 points. They're always favored by 3 points, and then it's leveled off after that. So if the Jets are getting 3, that means it's basically a push. It's a pick-em game, which is great. In my heart, I think the Jets ride this emotion, this adrenaline, this revitalized locker room, and maybe this doesn't last too long. But right now, they're riding Mike White's success, and I think Minnesota is very beatable. I know they're 9-2, but I think Minnesota is very beatable, and I think first of all that they win the game outright, and I'm going to go 23-17, and I'm going to say it comes down to our defense, um, and I think they make the plays that are needed. Um, and I'm saying right now, the spotlight for this weekend is on Sauce Gardner. Um, excuse me. If I had a bet with my head, if I was using money to bet with this game, I still think the Jets win. I think they win by less than a touchdown. I'm going to say less than 5. So let's say the Jets win by 3 to 4 points. And I'm going to go 20-17. Um, so there you have it. This is a little long-winded video. I apologize for that. Just a lot of things to go over, a lot of things going on. Um, check us out. Subscribe to the video. Like the video. Retweet the video. We're on Twitter. Of course, you can find us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at the Jets Takeoff. Or at the Jets Takeoff. We are on Facebook. The Facebook page is the Takeoff. You can email us at thejetstakeoff@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, The Takeoff, it's at The Jets Takeoff. You can Google that. You Google Alex Parziali. Watch it. You're heading out to Minnesota. Stay warm. It's going to be brutal up there. It's going to be brutal down here with cold. Are you tailgating? Are you home gating? Are you going to the bar? What are you doing? Away games when I'm home, it's usually in my jet room here, my family room, and me and the family watch the game. We'll probably be putting up decorations as well. So that's what I'll be doing. But please send us your commentary. Please, put comments on the video. I have to tell you, I did a rapid reaction right after the loss to the Patriots, and Patriot fans just roasted me. And they roasted me from everything from what I said about the Patriots and the Jets to me basically called them cheaters, and I did not. I just said that how did the NFL allow a game to start without replay being available and without cameras being available? And then, they actually roasted my weight. And I know I'm fat. It's something I'm working on. What are you going to do? But they just roasted me. They said that we were salty. Bill Belichick is our daddy. And yeah, we definitely are. We are realistic Jet fans. We know our record, But at that time, it was just frustration on the whole thing. And, but I'll take any criticism you have. I'll take any pointers you have. I'll take any positives you have. Please let us know. As always, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Have a healthy weekend. Have a blessed weekend. A blessed weekend. However you say it, we're in December. Meaningful football is back in New York for both teams. Continued success from all of us. Check us out. Have a great day.